What's up, everybody? If you haven't noticed, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to be making big waves next year for the Dodgers. One thing that'll jump out at you when watching Yamamoto is his unique pitching mechanics. Much like the way Tim Lincecum revolutionized the way we think of pitching mechanics, I think a lot of people are going to be influenced by Yamamoto as well. So I figured I'd do a quick breakdown of his mechanics and why he throws the way he does. But before I get into all this, make sure to hit that subscribe button because you're not going to want to miss all the videos we'll be putting out. So hit subscribe, and without further ado, here's a breakdown of Yoshinobu Yamamoto's unique pitching mechanics. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is one of the most decorated Japanese pitchers of all time. He's won 3 straight Sawamura Awards, which is basically Japan's Cy Young Award, and 3 consecutive pitching triple crowns over there. In fact, last year he was 16-6 with a 1.21 ERA and 169 Ks in 164 innings. Pure domination. Over the past 3 years, he's basically been the Pedro Martinez of Japan. At 5'10", 176 pounds, he's pretty much Pedro's stature, and dominated opponents with 3 of the top pitches in the NPB. An electric fastball that can touch 99 miles an hour, a disgusting splitter, and a crazy unique curveball release that I'll touch on later in this video. And I've dubbed it his yo-yo curveball. At 176 pounds and 5'10", he's definitely an undersized pitcher. And to throw gas, he's developed some very well thought out pitching mechanics. To do this quick overview, I'll be borrowing some stuff from Josh Gessner's great breakdown on X on Yamamoto's pitching mechanics, including his translation of some of Yamamoto's videos. And for an incredibly detailed breakdown, make sure to visit Tread Athletics and look at their breakdown of Yamamoto. I'm mostly going to touch on what's so interesting about his mechanics and why he does what he does. You can see Yamamoto throws out of a slide step in lieu of a big leg lift in his windup. He does this because of his interesting training. Instead of focusing mostly on long toss, he focuses on long tossing a javelin. And he models his mechanics after javelin throwers' mechanics. He said he ditched his leg lift because he felt like he was getting stuck, and instead now focuses on his weight transfer, making sure his mechanics flow, and in the end, there's no weight left on his back leg. This simplification helps him feel like he's in sync. And he trains with javelins because javelins make him feel like he's throwing with his whole body. Yamamoto said he trains with a javelin also because throwing a baseball was hurting his elbow, and these new mechanics take a lot of pressure off his arm. In fact, one of his cues is, don't feel like you're throwing with your elbow. I paired him up with a javelin thrower, and you can see there's a lot of similarities, although, of course, a javelin thrower is going to have more tilted shoulders, because they're kind of throwing uphill instead of downhill. The other thing these simplified mechanics do is help him take advantage of his one true benefit physically. He's got ridiculous mobility. Look at his flexibility carrying out these exercises. Dude looks like he's made of rubber. So instead of using brute force and lifting big weights, like a lot of pitchers do in MLB today, you know, mass equals gas, he uses his incredible mobility to almost turn himself into a human slingshot. Now look, these mechanics might not work for you. Everybody's different, and unless you have this type of mobility, it may be tough to imitate. But this also shows there's more than one way to get things done. You might remember when Tim Lincecum burst on the scene as an undersized pitcher. He also kind of turned his body into a human slingshot. And while his mechanics were different, the idea is kind of the same. Take advantage of your unique gifts. Not only are Yamamoto's mechanics one of a kind, but he also throws one of the most interesting curveballs in baseball, maybe the most interesting. It's called the Ganoza curveball, and I've dubbed it the yo-yo curve because he kind of throws it like a yo-yo. You can see he kind of throws the back of his hand at the target, just like you'd release a yo-yo. It's called the Ganoza curveball because it originated in a small village in Japan, Ganoza, and it's kind of a sick idea. You can see the type of spin he gets on the pitch, and why he can get some outrageous drop, fairly similar to the drop that Clayton Kershaw gets on his curveball. But Yamamoto throws it at a higher speed and gets more horizontal break than Kershaw does. This pitch is going to blow people's minds next year. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit subscribe. And get ready to see a ton of Yamamoto highlights next year on my channel. This is going to be a lot of fun.